All right, Rena, you passed your exam. How do you feel?
I feel relieved and grateful. I could not
Good.
have done it without your help and the support of my husband, who did absolutely everything for the 10 weeks that I was studying for this exam. So,
That is good. Well,
yeah,
say
yeah,
double thanks to him for me.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. So there's a lot of people out there. We'll get down to the nitty gritty. If you were just going to sum it up and be like, "Hey, I passed, and this is what I want to tell everybody," what are some of those high points that you think are super duper important?
Yeah. So after I was when I was researching boot camps for this to get my strategy in line for studying, I realized that there are a lot of programs out there that are just going to regurgitate the PMBOK book, and that's not what you need in order to pass this exam. Not only that, is a lot of programs out there, will give you the 35 hours that you need to to apply for the exam, but
Yeah.
that's not going to get you, you're not going to pass the exam by simply sitting in on that. And that's what I learned. So while I had to do that and it was helpful, that's not what got me to pass. It was your program, honestly. So
Okie dokie.
totally great.
So talk to us a little bit more. You have a good perception or a good understanding of what it actually takes to learn this stuff. So
Right.
what worked for you? Like how was it different? Stuff like that.
Yeah, so it was understanding the project flow, the flows of all the
Mhm.
groups, and how that was really the piece that needed to synthesize with me. And it was also walking through all of the testing that you had
Mhm.
on your site, and doing that every day until I hit 80% on every single one of those knowledge groups. And then I felt confident. It wasn't until I hit the 80% mark on every single try that I felt confident and ready. And the fact that I was like dreaming about all this stuff every night, then I knew I was good.
That is a good one when you
I
start
know,
dreaming
right?
about it. It's a
When
little
you're,
scary, but
it's like when you are dreaming, in a second language, you're fluent.
very
That
true.
was right. So,
That's cool. And so, like, when you were dreaming, to get to the dreaming part, I know it sounds funky, but like, I think there's something there about like
totally.
what was
Yeah, because
happening in your brain
it goes
while you're
from,
dreaming.
yeah, because it's now in your long-term memory. And that's
Ah,
really where all this information has to be stored, because there is no brain dump with this. You'll hear the concept of brain dump when you get into the exam. No, that's a no. It's total waste of time. Plus, then you're not fully understanding. You're just simply memorizing. And you want to leave this exam and this whole process knowing that you can then move forward and implement it in your real life, because that's really why we're doing it. It's to be
yes.
able to talk about the framework, explain what it is that you do as a project manager, and become a better project manager.
I like it. I like that angle. And so I'm assuming that as you went through here, you might have had some realizations to say, I'm really good at this. Oh, I can improve in these ways. Have
Right.
you made any changes or had any realizations or anything that's of note?
Mhm. Well, I come from a large company. We have a
Mhm.
PMO already in place, and we rock it, quite frankly.
Nice.
But what my key takeaway was, and what I use now every day in my language, is what's the risk? What's the
Mm,
risk? What's the upside? What's the downside? What happens if?
yeah.
So, and yeah, that's just become a regular part of my vernacular, I think. So,
Okay, and that's always good. I mean, because it sounds like, I mean, I'd love to talk at a later time about like how you guys do stuff because it's always fun to find places out there that are confident. You're like, we do a really good job, and so
mhm,
it's cool to talk through that.
mhm,
Now, when you took the previous boot camp and stuff,
mhm,
thinking about how you learn or how they were teaching and learn, like, what
right.
do you see now that, or during the experience, did you go like, oh, this isn't working, or did you think it was you that was wrong, or what were you thinking
Mhm,
like during that
mhm.
process?
Well, it was a friend of mine who actually, by like 8 weeks, when I had started to dream about this, the processes and the knowledge groups, I knew I was onto something. But it was a friend of mine who had recommended your program and had said, if you really want to get, feel like you have a deeper knowledge, she said, get Scott's audiobook, listen to it day and night in the car while you're walking the dog, every chance you get, and it's going to walk you through what do you call it, what's the book? The case study. Case
Yeah.
study with John.
With
Yes.
John or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. So that was really what brought it home for me.
Oh,
Was
good.
listening to that. And then you know what else I really liked about your program was the and I went back to the site and I didn't see it. What is it where you have like all the knowledge groups and then you click it and it flips the card and you get to see like the
Yeah, we
definition?
have two. We have it organized two different ways. It's called
Okay.
like PM1 view or the shoot, I can't remember what the other one's called. Knowledge
Right.
area inspector or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome to have it all in one place. So essentially that's information that you can get out of PMBOK, but for some reason, when it's visually oriented that way, that was even better. And so when I was going through your the testing questions, anytime I came across something that I got wrong, I would immediately go back to that site, look it up, go back to the PMBOK, look it up, and then I would create a flashcard too.
Beautiful.
So they were a series of strategies that I was using to get me through 10 weeks of study, no lie, 250 hours, and I passed 3 above target.
Not so bad. That's not so bad.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think a lot of those, like the thing I realized, and I mean, when I was studying, I started to visualize and do all those things. And I think
Right.
for a lot of people, that's really helpful. So the more they can make it theirs and like get
Yeah.
it into their system and
Right.
say,
Right.
like, and part of it is, I think one of the things that hold people back is that it almost feels like they're scared to go like, maybe I don't understand things as well as I think, or maybe I
Right.
can't explain it. And some like
Right.
once we push them off the edge, you go like, no, just like tell your own story. They
Right.
seem to like get it more, and then it starts to take them over and they can do it.
Right.
So that's cool with you. Like
Yeah.
now that
So,
you
I
go
mean,
ahead.
if I can circle back on what you just said, synthesizing that information so it and making it your own. So when you create the flashcards
Mhm.
based on what you're missing, you can create the definition on based on how you understand it. And
Mm.
that and writing it constantly, it's another mechanism for memorization. So I think
Yeah.
that's the piece that people overlook because it does take time. But if you
Mhm.
put in that time, it's going to pay off.
Sure. Sure. And if you have the right perspective, like where you're not just kind of like data dumping down for a purpose, like what
Right.
you were doing is synthesizing. And
Right.
so instead of just like, oh, I'm putting it down there and it's there and somehow it'll help, like I don't understand the logic that these other people
Right.
talk about.
No,
But
right, right, right. Yeah, and that was one of the things that I really liked about some of your tutorials on YouTube.
Mhm.
I forget which one it was, but I just remember your animation about the professor with the crazy white hair. He's a chemist, and he's in charge of this silo, and but the
Yeah,
communication has to flow up, and that kind of stuff, is really helpful too.
that's awesome. Well, the good thing is, like, I have a new course, like the Accelerator, and then we did a version 2. And then
Mhm.
what we did was like, oh, let's just make it all visual. And like, there's still words on slides, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
way simplified down. And there's
Awesome.
all these different angles about like the flows and make it visual. And what I
Hmm.
did with the case story was we have like the John walkthrough, and
Right.
then this took forever. But like, what
Sure.
I did was I afterwards said, okay, we had like a conversation, me and the screen or whatever, like, what is your answer? Why do you make it? And then I told you like, well, this is what I took from, this is why I wrote it. These are some of like the hidden things inside of them. Like,
Right.
so yeah, it took forever to do, but it's kind of cool to kind of talk through it. And then I
Mhm.
realized I like certain characters more than the other now than what I originally designed them as.
Mhm.
But it's cool.
Mhm.
So when you go back to your job, you said risk is a bigger thing you're looking at. Now, for people that aren't in areas that are having, PMOs that are killing it,
Mhm.
what do you think some of the side benefits of getting, obviously PME career and stuff, but what do you
Mhm.
think some of the side benefits are of getting the PMP? Anything out there that for those people that aren't in rockstar organizations
Well,
that
I
help
think
that?
it makes you more marketable, but it's
Hmm.
it's it's a highlight for your own company too to
Hmm.
market. We have so many folks on our team with their PMP certification. I mean, you're a rock star when you get the PMP. Everyone knows it's a very hard exam.
Hmm.
There are reasons why people don't pass the first time,
For sure.
unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's and also, I mean, it gives you confidence too.
True.
you know?
You're out there, you've done it, you've thought through these things critically, you know,
Yeah,
you can kind of put some practice in it. Now,
right.
you mentioned a teeny bit like reasons why people fail. In your opinion, if
Mhm.
people are out there and they're like, well, what are those reasons? Like, what are a couple of those reasons you think that people fail?
I think people fail because they simply read the book or they
Hmm,
just take that 35-hour class and think, oh, I'm ready, I'm done, that's it. And that's
yeah,
not their fault, that's the marketing.
true.
So,
Yeah, apparently everybody's 99%, all these marketing people. And I'm like, dudes,
yeah,
like that's really mathematically difficult.
yeah,
Like we're talking 99 out of 100. Like that's
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah, they're whatever, they can market however they want to, but that's cool. And so it's really really great that you passed. It's really really great that you're implementing now and you have this perspective. So
Mhm.
what's the next challenge for you? I know that you're probably not sitting and twiddling your thumbs. What are you doing
No,
next?
I think that's true of all project managers. I think, we're
True.
all doers and we're all looking for the next, where else can we improve, not just ourselves, but, our processes and that kind
Yeah,
of thing. So yeah, no,
that's awesome.
I'm happy where I'm at. I work for a great company. They're super supportive and, um, you know, couldn't be happier.
That's good. That's good to hear. Well, Rena, I really, really appreciate you sharing your insights, and I'm proud of you, and very, very happy
Thank
that we
you.
were able to help you. And
Me too.
this won't be the last time we chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cool.